So moment of inertia is equal to integral r square dm. Let's write it here. Integral r square dm. We don't even need, we are not going to use this formula because we have a regular object. We don't have an irregular object. We have a regular cuboid or a rod, so we can measure it directly. And I'll write the formula for that. Another thing we are going to use, which is the concept of rotation, is geometric moment of inertia. Okay. So another thing is Ig, which is geometric moment of inertia. So slight change from this moment of inertia. If you have an irregular object, let's say, and this is your axis of rotation, and instead of choosing a mass, what we do is we choose a surface area of cross section. So let's say this object is rotating like this, and this is your cross section area dA. Okay, so in this case, the geometric moment of inertia is equal to Ig. G is for geometric. Ig will be equal to integral r square dA. Okay, so this is your geometric moment of inertia. So please remember this one because we are going to use this in detail. So I am going to write this also here. Geometric moment of inertia. Next thing is, let's get back to our the main topic which we are going to measure: Young's modulus, shear modulus, and Poisson's ratio. So these three concepts are the properties of mechanical properties of element. So like once we are done with the dynamics and rotation, in real life we need to deal with actual objects, right? And actual objects are not single particle, they are not single element, they are made up of multiple particles, multiple atoms. So like these wire, this object, these are not single particle, and as much as you'd like to think that these are simple object and you can just apply the Newtonian mechanics to understand, but at the basic core level they are made up of atom, and they do not behave as a rigid objects. Sometimes they change their shape, sometimes you can stretch them, you can compress them, you can bend them. So that's why we need to study the mechanical properties of these materials also to understand the physics. And these mechanical properties are classified with these modulus or these constants, which are Young's modulus, shear modulus, and Poisson's ratio. So I'm going to define one by one what these quantities are. So first one is Young's modulus, which I'm going to use the symbol Y, capital Y. So Young's modulus is defined as stress divided by strain. Stress divided by strain. So in a simple form, if you have, let's say, a rod or a wire, okay, and you fix it somewhere and you start pulling it down. Let's say you apply a force F and pulling it down. So eventually with sufficient amount of force it will stretch. If it's a metallic wire, if it's a rubber, it will stretch very easily. If it's a metal, it will eventually stretch. And let's say it changes its length from, let's say this was its basic length L, and it's changed to some delta L. Okay. So let's say total length will be equal to L plus delta L after the stretching. So in this change of length, we can define strain as a ratio of delta L by L. So the change in length divided by the original length is called strain. Okay. So strain is a simple concept. Stress is another physical quantity which is defined as stress is defined as force per unit area. So this force we are applying here, and this force is applied on this cross section. Let's say this is a cylinder. Okay, let's say this was a cylinder, and this cross section is a circle, right? So on this area we are applying the force. So stress can be equal to force per unit area. So that's how Young's modulus is defined. So I hope you will remember these quantities, stress and strain, which are force per unit area is equal to stress and strain is equal to change in length divided by actual length. Okay. So in this experiment, again we are not going to use, we are not stretching some object, we are bending it. We are bending this wire. Okay, this wire is there and we are trying to bend it, we are not stretching it. But bending is somehow related to stretching and compressing. So let's see how. So let's say you have this wire and for a moment just assume this is a rectangular wire. Okay. Now if I bend it, let's say this is just simple line to guide me. Let's say we bend it somehow, something like this. Okay. So now can you see that I'm drawing a midline, let's call it A and B. Let's call this corner C and D. Let's this corner E and F. Okay. So now you can see that AB are almost pretty much, the length of AB remains constant, but length of CD, let's say this is A dash B dash, C dash D dash. Okay. So the length of C dash D dash has been increased from CD, right? CD से इसकी length ज़्यादा होगी. If you can do this by this radius. Assume that this is a circle, this is a whole circle, and this is your radius R. Now you can see that more the radius is, more this circumference will be, right? More this arc will be. The length of this arc will be increasing as we increase the radius. So the length of E dash F dash is less than C dash D dash, right? And even length of E dash F dash is less than A dash B dash, and length of A dash B dash is less than C dash D dash, right? So for this you can say that from the line of center A dash B dash, the material above the center line is stretching and material below the center line is compressed. Okay, so we are stretching and compressing at the same time in case of bending. So in this case, Young's modulus should be defined in a more proper way, right? So we are going to define a strain. So strain should be change in length divided by actual length, right? So we want to measure the change. So what we are going to do is we are going to consider any one of these situations, either compressing or stretching. So let's consider stretching. So in this case, stretching length will be equal to C dash D dash minus, we are assuming that AB and A dash B dash are exactly same. The length at the center will not change. So in this case, A dash C dash D dash minus A dash B dash divided by A dash B dash. Okay. So let's assume this angle is theta. Okay. In this case, let's put the values. So we are going to use the formula of arc length equal to r theta. Arc equals to radius into theta. So here it will be, let me define the length very clearly. So